Hello again. Today I'm in the kitchen with my finished beach walk blanket because it's time now to give it its pamper wash. This is what I call the finishing stages of the blanket. I get asked a lot on social media about whether people should block their crochet as they go along. And my reply to that is no, especially because if you're using the yarn that is recommended in the pattern, it's acrylic yarn and it doesn't need to be blocked. Even more so because your granny squares are turned after each round and the blanket itself is turned after each round, and that keeps everything nice and straight. This is the blanket in its finished state without any blocking or washing at this point, so you can see that it is really flat to start with. I do a pamper wash to sort out any lumps and bumps that there might be. You will occasionally get a little bit more of a bumpiness over the smaller parts, the mini grannies, because there's a lot going on round the join of them. It's not much in this, to be honest. It is pretty flat, but there's that to sort out. But there's also the fact that the acrylic yarn can feel quite hard when you're working with it. But when it's gone through a wash, the fibres are relaxed and it becomes much softer. Now, personally, I don't recommend blocking as you go. Apart from what I've just said about the not needing to do it, it will relax the piece that you block. So blocking, you can't block acrylic yarn really any other way than steaming it with an iron, not touching it, but steaming it with the iron held above it. And the steam goes into the fibres and relaxes them. And, some people will say that they want to do that. But what I find, this is the main reason why I wouldn't do it, is say, for example, you took the first 9 squares in the blanket, and before you joined them together, you decided that you were going to get one of these really nice blocking boards and with the pegs and soak them or steam them and then block them and let them dry. Of course, that takes time. It'll take a day at least. But the other thing is that it relaxes the fibres, which will make them a little bit more floppy than the ball of yarn that you're going to be using to do the join as you go. And personally, I do not like the feeling of a square which is relaxed and soft being joined by something that's harder. I just don't think you can get the tension as even. So that's my reason for not blocking the individual squares. And as far as blocking the entire blanket is concerned, all you need to do is wash it. Right, to address the questions, what happens with the dark colours? What about the tomatoey red colour? Will it not bleed into the others? Will the colours not run? The answer is no, because acrylic yarn is not dyed like wool or cotton is dyed to get the colour. The colour is manufactured into the yarn as it is constructed. It's like, anything that's made of a man-made material like plastic. The colour you couldn't, for example, bleach the colour out of a washing up bowl because the colour is manufactured in the material. It doesn't sound like I know what I'm talking about, and I don't really, but I do know that it's not dyed and it won't run, so you're perfectly safe with that. Now, if you look at the ball band on a ball of Stylecraft Special, it will tell you that it's machine washable and can be tumble dried, and it can be machine washed up to, I think it's 40 degrees. And certainly with acrylic jumpers, you just throw them in the machine. With the blanket, I tend to take it down just a little to 30 degrees, which is fine. And of course, if you've got a new machine that will wash at a cooler temperature again, yeah, that's fine too. I do it in 30 degrees, and I have on my old washing machine a super quick button which will do a wash in 15 minutes, because basically, apart from relaxing the fibres, all you're doing is gently washing the blanket. You may have had pets in the house when you've been crocheting the blanket. I don't have any myself, but you know, there could be a little bit of dirt comes from just it lying around in the house as you're working on it, and certainly a little bit of, you know, greasiness from your fingers if you get hot. All these things can contribute to just lightly soiling your blanket, so you want to freshen it up as well. Right, so I am going to prove to you that not only will the colours not run when I put this through the wash, the blanket itself won't shrink, it won't fall apart, it will come out looking perfect. So I'm going to take this over to my ancient washing machine here. This machine is probably about 20 years old, so but it still works. And I'm going to pop this blanket in. Now, I use one of these eco washing pods from a company called Small, S-M-O-L, and that does the trick. I've got to really bang my door, otherwise it won't shut properly. And then I put in a little bit of the pure fabric conditioner. This is optional. Some people don't like the smell of fabric conditioner, but I quite like it. I don't like it overpowering. This is a very gentle one, and I just use half a capful. So I'll just pop that in. And then I'll set my, set it to a 15. Now here it is. Here you can see it's set at a 30 degrees, super quick. You could also have it on a 30 degrees mixed load, whatever. And mine will be a 15-minute wash. It automatically sets itself for an 800 spin speed, but I'm going to override that and set it to 1000, because I want my blanket to be you know, reasonably dry when I take it out of the machine. So that's it. That's all I have to do. Press start. And within a second or two, the water will start coming in. There you go. And I'll be back in 15 minutes to show you what I do with the blanket next. So the 15 minutes is up, and it's time to take the blanket out. And I'm just going to pop through to my spare bedroom to do the next part. Now I've just laid it quite roughly on my spare bed. It doesn't need to be on a bed, it can be on a floor, anywhere that you've got a flat surface. And what I've done first is I've covered my quilt with a piece of polar fleece. You can buy that by the meter from Etsy or eBay. It's quite cheap. It's really wide, so you don't need to buy much, but it's nice and thick, so it won't let any dampness go through onto the bed. And it also has a little bit of a, what would I say, a kind of a tooth, so that when I pull this blanket out a little bit, it will stick to the fleece. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to just work around and straighten it out. And once it's flat, I'm then going to just smooth it from the center and then let it dry. Now it's a little bit softer, and it's more, what would you say, malleable. Is that a good word for it? You can mold it into shape. So there's really not much stretching needing to be done. Right, now I'm working one-handed because I'm holding my phone in the other hand to film. But here we have, there's a bumpy bit there, look. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lean over, start from the centre and just sweep my hand over the lumps and bumps and just let them all get pulled out to the edges and flatten out. Take a couple of minutes doing that. Nice big sweeping motions from the centre outwards. And then you can also tweak that border so that it's lying straight. And then once you're happy with the way it's lying, you can just forget about it for a few hours until it's completely dry. And then you'll have your blanket in its state of perfection, looking just right. It is really, really flat now, as you can see, and it's smelling very nice and fresh, and it's got a nice soft feel. So that is how to give your blanket its pamper wash. That just took 15 minutes on my machine, and it's worth just a few minutes of smoothing to get it looking its best. And there you go. That is the Beach Walk blanket. So have fun and do make an attempt at doing your pamper wash, and you'll see great results. I'll see you again next time. Bye.